Hi there, this is another FJchat. My name's Ian McGibbon from Farrow, Jamieson, and I'm sitting with Marian Johnson, who is the Chief Ministry of Awesomeness. What is your title?
I'm Chief Awesome Officer.
Chief Awesome Officer
Yeah.
of the Ministry of Awesome. Please tell me what the Ministry of Awesome is.
So the Ministry of Awesome is the starting point for entrepreneurs in Christchurch, and we support entrepreneurs, innovators, and startups in Christchurch. And essentially what that means is that you can come here regardless of what stage your startup might be in, and we'll triage where you're at, help you unpack what your next steps might need to be, put you in contact with the people you need to work with, give you capability training if that's what you require, and essentially safeguard your success.
So are you working as a conduit between the angels' investment in community and entrepreneurs and the ideas and the startups and the things that think they could ramp up or go further? You're the linker.
That's right. So if you imagine the ecosystem, the startup and innovation ecosystem as being, a giant pot of individuals and groups like Christchurch NZ, our economic development agency, and maybe the University Centre for Entrepreneurship, and maybe Canterbury Angels, and then maybe a couple of VCs, and then a couple of incubators, and so on. And then the Callahans and those kinds of bods. Ministry of Awesome is the giant wooden spoon that stirs the whole thing around.
I like it.
So if you happen to turn up in Christchurch tomorrow morning and you were a tech founder and you had come here because you'd heard that this was a fantastic environment to be in and that you would get lots of support here, and that the opportunities were amazing, you would start off by talking to someone at the Ministry of Awesome who would point you in the right direction.
Good. So I think your job title needs to be Chief Stirrer now.
Chief Stirring Officer, yes, yes.
So tell me something that I don't know about, or other people don't know about the Christchurch tech scene.
So we see about 1,000 entrepreneurs every year through the door here at Ministry of Awesome. And of those 1,000 entrepreneurs, about 42% of them would be tech startups. Mm-hmm. And as I mentioned, they're at any stage. Some of them are at ideation, some of them are at some form of customer or market validation, some of them have an MVP. And they're just beginning trading. Some of them are in growth, but regardless, that is the largest volume in any single sector coming through the city, and that's not surprising at all, considering the campaign that our economic development agency is on, which is basically to build this city as a tech center. You might not know that Canterbury's tech sector is the second largest tech sector in New Zealand.
I did not know that.
Most people would assume that it would be two cities in the North Island.
Who's your main nameless?
and then maybe Christchurch. But no, we are happy to be second. We'd rather be first. We're working on it. And you might know a little bit about the EPIC campus, which is the innovation campus, where I think you've got 118 tech startups trading under that roof. So the tech scene here is incredibly healthy. It's very vibrant, and Canterbury Tech as an organization is doing an incredible job of connecting those startups together, connecting the ecosystem together, and making sure that there's a lot of support for the sector all around.
It's one of those things, I guess, where you end up in a situation where it's an inertia thing. So you get a roll going, and lots of rolls going, and then it builds momentum.
Yeah.
And so they start feeding. And as you say, you're just sort of steering now because you're sort of putting people in the right sort of way.
That's
it's
right.
taking off.
That's right. I mean, I wanted to say, I just heard some noise in the background, and that is the Tech Activator sessions are happening today. So we have activator sessions once a month, and today we've got tech startups coming in from 2 until 6. Each of them has a 20-minute appointment to meet with a panel of experts, people who have either founded their own successful tech startup and grown it to scale, or people who service tech startups or work on things like growth hacking. Anyway, there's an expert panel of 4 individuals You get a 20-minute appointment in front of them. You talk to them about your idea or your product, your venture, and if nothing else, you get an incredible instant network of 4 additional powerful people in the city who can help make your idea happen.
And if you're looking at those, what would be your view in terms of the flavour of those businesses, tech aside, that are sort of more export orientated or more offshore or global opportunities or global plays?
Well, Ministry of Awesome is about supporting entrepreneurs, startups, innovators, full stop. But really, the overarching goal is to create the city of opportunity that our city leadership is talking about. And that city of opportunity is going to be founded on the back of entrepreneurs, startups, and innovators, which means that those entrepreneurs that we really want to encourage are those that have good scale potential. So these are people who are creating technologies or creating products, creating ventures that have great opportunity for export, and have great opportunity for high impact and high growth.
So when do you decide you've clocked the game, that you've done this, it's sorted, we've done it? What's Nirvana out of here?
Gosh, I guess when we're the #1 tech sector in New Zealand, that'll be part of the roadmap, and then we can start on regional domination, and then move on from there. There's just too many people who are in Christchurch and Canterbury who still think that they have to go to the big smoke to get amongst it, and to get the support and the customers that they need. And by that I don't mean Auckland and Wellington, I mean Sydney, I mean Melbourne, I mean Singapore, I mean further afield, New York, San Francisco, etc. But we are hell bent on building a really strong hub here, and it's going to be a long process, but I think we'll know that we're there when we hit that first stage, which is to be the #1 tech exporter. Yeah.
That's epic. I applaud you on the journey, because I can see the results of some of that in terms of what people are talking about you and your team. And so to do that means that they're validating what you're doing. So congratulations.
Thanks very much. Thank you. It's been a very exciting journey so far. I'm only 9 months into my new role. We're just so bullish. We're very bullish on what we're doing, the impact that we're having, but most of all, we're really bullish on the talent that's here. And I find it mind-boggling that most Cantabrians and most Christchurch residents and most Aucklanders and Wellingtonites don't know the kind of talent that we have, not just here in Christchurch, but up and down in this nation. I mean, there's just not enough talking about it. In Christchurch and Canterbury particularly, there's almost zero talking about it. And so one of the big jobs that we have to do, and some of the big jobs that Canterbury Tech and Christchurch NZ and all the other agencies have to do, is to start telling the stories of these incredible people.
Beat that drum. And stir.
Yeah. Can I give an example?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'd like to give you an example to fasten on to, because it's a really exciting one. And I just met this guy a couple of days ago when he came to Coffee and Jam. So Coffee and Jam is our weekly meetup. We get about 80 startups, innovators, entrepreneurs every Tuesday, 12:30 to 1:30. It's been going for 6 years. The room is always packed. It's always 2 speakers. We have the first speaker is an entrepreneur. The second speaker is somebody who's of scale or is an authority of some kind. Anyway, I met this guy. His name's Rob, and Rob is a founder of a VR company who started in I think 2015, and his VR actually showed how astronauts in training could navigate a piece of equipment. And he just finished doing his deal, selling his company and selling all of the IP in Alabama to a group called Aegis, who supply NASA. So that's the kind of stuff that's going down. It's not little bitty things. No. It's actually really interesting, kind of sexy stories. And in this case, I met a man who invented a piece of space kit, basically. A couple of weeks ago.
Superb. Yeah. All right, we will await further stories. In the meantime, good luck with the Ministry of Awesome and the awesomeness that you can actually put together.
Thanks
so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay.